Have you ever wondered what it would be like to go on a journey into the unknown? Today, I'm telling the story of a brave young girl named Tariro who sets out to save a village and uncover a hidden secret. But on her journey, she faces dark forests, strange creatures, and mysterious challenges. Will she find the courage to keep going? Join me to find out in Tariro's brave journey. You don't want to miss this adventure. The village of hope. In the small, peaceful village of Mangura, there lived a curious girl named Tariro. She was 8 years old and loved to listen to the stories her grandmother, Ambuya Nyasha, would tell her each night. Ambuya Nyasha had the warmest smile and eyes that sparkled like the stars. She told tales of great warriors, wise animals, and the spirits of the ancestors who watched over them. Tato's family was small but loving. Her father, Baba Tunderai, was a skilled craftsman who carved beautiful tools and bowls from wood. Her mother, Maivimbai, was kind and gentle, always making sure everyone had enough food and warm clothes. Tari also had a little brother, Munya, who loved following her around even when she wanted to be alone. One cool evening, as the sun was setting, Taro sat by the fire with her grandmother. The air was filled with the smell of roasting maize, and a gentle breeze danced through the trees. Tariro, Ambuya Nyasha began, her voice soft and full of mystery. Do you know about the Moringa tree? Tariro shook her head. No, Ambuya. What is it? Ambuya Nyasha smiled. The Moringa tree is a sacred tree. It is said to be the mother of all trees. Long ago, our people found a special kind of seed that could grow only in our village. But one day, the seeds were lost, and ever since, our village has had to make do without the Moringa tree. Why is it so special? Tyro asked, her eyes wide with wonder. The Moringa tree brings hope and healing. Its wood is strong, its leaves cure sickness, and its shade protects us from the hot sun. Without it, we have missed a blessing. Ambuya explained, her voice quiet and serious. Taro thought about the Moringa tree, and she drifted off to sleep that night. She imagined it, tall and strong, standing proudly in the center of her village. She wished with all her heart that she could find those lost seeds and bring them back. Little did she know her adventure was just beginning. Tariro and the Lost Calabash. The next morning, as the sun rose over Mangura, Tariro and her little brother Munya went down to the river to fetch water. The river sparkled under the morning light, and birds sang cheerfully in the trees. Baba Tonderai had given her a special calabash, one that he had carved himself to collect water. Tariro loved the way the calabash felt in her hand, smooth and cool. Be careful with the calabash, Tariro. Her father had warned her. It is precious to me. Tariro nodded and held it tightly as she and Munya filled their calabashes with water. But as they were playing along the riverbank, something unexpected happened. Munya, who loved to jump around, accidentally bumped into Tariro. The calabash slipped from her hands and fell into the rushing water. No, Tariro cried as she watched the calabash float away down the river. She ran along the bank, trying to catch it, but the current was too strong and soon the calabash was out of sight. Tariro felt tears well up in her eyes. She knew her father would be disappointed. How could she tell him she had lost something so precious? Slowly, Tariro and Munya walked back to the village, their heads hanging low. When they reached home, Baba Tonderai could see the worry on her face. What happened, Tariro? He asked, noticing her empty hands. Tariro took a deep breath and told him the truth. Baba Tonderai sighed, but placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Do not worry, my child, he said softly. You made a mistake, but you were honest about it. And honest is worthy more than any calabash. Relieved, but still sad, Taro thanked her father. She promised herself she would be more careful in the future and started to wonder if it was a sign of something bigger to come. The elders visit. A few days later, the village of Mangura was filled with excitement. An elder named Sekuru Kudakwashe was visiting from a neighboring village. Sekuru Kudakwashe was a tall, wise man with a long white beard and a walking stick that was carved with symbols of his family and ancestors. He was known for his wisdom and often traveled to different villages to share his knowledge. The villagers gathered in the center of Mangura to welcome him. Tariro stood close to her parents, feeling a mixture of curiosity and excitement. She watched as Sekuru Kudakwashe greeted the people, his voice calm and full of strength. After everyone had welcomed him, Sekuru began to speak. People of Mangura, he said, I come with news that affects us all. The sacred seeds of the Moringa tree, which were lost long ago, have been found. But they are far from here, across rivers and hills, in a place guarded by the spirits. The villagers gasped. Taro's heart raced. The Moringa tree, the tree Ambuya Nyasha had spoken of. She could hardly believe it. But these seeds will not be easy to retrieve, Sekuru Kudakwashe continued. The journey is dangerous and only for the brave. If someone is willing to go, our villages may once again know the blessings of the Moringa tree. Tariro looked around. She saw the villagers exchanging glances, their faces filled with worry. Who would be brave enough to go on such a journey? Sekuru Kudakwashe's eyes seemed to find Tariro in the crowd, and he gave her a gentle nod. For a moment, it was as if he was speaking only to her. Tariro felt a strange feeling in her heart, a mix of excitement, fear, and hope. Could she be the one to bring the seeds back? Could she, a young girl, help her village and her people? She didn't know the answer yet, but deep down she felt something stirring. The adventure she had dreamed of was calling her, and she knew she couldn't ignore it. The call to adventure. That evening, after Sekuru Kudakwashe had shared the news, the village was filled with hushed whispers. Families gathered around fires, speaking of the Moringa seeds and wondering who might be brave enough to retrieve them. Tariro sat close to her grandmother, Ambuya Nyasha, who noticed her deep in thought. Tariro, my child, Ambuya said gently, are you thinking about the Moringa seeds? Tariro nodded. Ambuya, do you think I could be the one to go? Ambuya Nyasha studied her granddaughter's face. This journey is not easy one. The path is full of dangers and you are young, but sometimes courage is not about age. It is about what is in your heart. Taro felt her heart beating faster. She had always wanted to help her people, and the thought of bringing the Moringa seeds back filled her with hope. But she also felt scared. What if she wasn't strong enough? What if she couldn't find the way? Ambuya placed a hand on Tariro's shoulder. If you truly feel called to go, then the spirits will guide you. But remember, bravery is not the absence of fear. It is facing fear with strength. Tariro took a deep breath. That night, she lay awake, staring up at the stars and imagining her journey. Finally, as the moonlight shone through her window, she made up her mind. She would go. She would bring the seeds back to a village, no matter what it took. Tariro's decision. The next morning, Tariro woke up early. She felt nervous but determined. She found her parents sitting by the fire, sipping their morning tea. She took a deep breath and walked up to them. Baba, Mai, she began, her voice steady but soft. I've decided to go on the journey for the Moringa seeds. Her mother's eyes widened in surprise. Tariro, you're just a child, Maivimba exclaimed, her voice filled with worry. This journey is too dangerous. Baba Tundrai looked at her with a serious face. Tariro, do you understand what you are saying? The road is long and the dangers are many. Tariro nodded. I know, Baba, but I believe that I am meant to go. I want to help our village and I feel that I must try. Her father looked into her eyes, searching for any hint of doubt, but he saw only courage and determination. He sighed, placing a hand on her shoulder. If this is truly what you believe, then we will support you, he said. But remember, Tariro, you must be wise. Listen to the guidance of the spirits and be careful. Her mother looked sad but hugged her tightly. You are brave, my daughter. We'll pray for your safety. Taro felt a mix of fear and excitement. She knew her family would miss her, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. She packed her things, a small bag with a few dried fruits, a blanket, and the charm her grandmother had given her. The whole village gathered to see her off. Sekurukuda Kwashe placed a hand on her head and blessed her journey. Go with courage, Tariro, and may the spirits protect you. With one last wave to her family and friends, Tariro took her first steps out of Mangura, a heart filled with hope. Farewell to Mangura. As Tariro walked out of her village, she felt the weight of her mission pressing on her shoulders. Every step she took led her further from home, and she felt both excitement and a little fear. The path before her was one she had never traveled. Tall trees lined the dusty road, and she could hear the sounds of birds chirping and leaves rustling. A short while later, she heard footsteps behind her. Turning around, she saw her grandmother, Ambuya Nyasha, hurrying to catch up with her. Tariro, wait, her grandmother called, breathing heavily as she reached her. Tariro's heart leapt, happy to see her grandmother one last time. Ambuya Nyasha handed Tariro a small beaded necklace. This charm has been in our family for generations, she said softly. It is said to protect those who wear it. Keep it close to your heart, my child, and may it keep you safe. Taro took the charm gratefully, placing it around her neck. Thank you, Ambuya, I will wait always. Ambuya smiled, her eyes kind but said, remember, Tariro, the path of bravery is not always easy. You may meet people who are not kind and places that are not safe, but hold on to hope and the Spirit will guide you. Tari hugged her grandmother tightly, feeling the warmth of her love and wisdom. As she stepped back onto the path, she waved goodbye, watching Ambuya slowly disappear into the distance. Now alone, Taro felt a new determination growing inside her. She touched the beaded charm around her neck, took a deep breath, and continued forward, ready to face whatever challenges awaited her. Encounter with Shumba, the lion. The next morning, Taro continued her journey through the forest. She walked quietly, listening to the sounds of birds and the rustle of leaves under her feet. Suddenly, she heard a deep, rumbling growl nearby. She stopped in her tracks, her heart racing. Out of the shadows stepped a large lion with a golden mane, his eyes calm yet fierce. Tara stood still, her hands trembling. As she looked into the lion's eyes, she remembered what her grandmother had told her. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but facing fear with strength. Summoning her courage, Tariro spoke to the lion. Hello, mighty Shumba. I am Tariro, and I am on a journey to bring back the seeds of the Moringa tree for my village. The lion gazed at her thoughtfully, then sat down, his tail flicking slowly. Little one, he said in a deep, rumbling voice, the journey you speak of is not an easy one, but I see that you are brave. Why do you want to help your village so much? Taro thought for a moment. Because I want my village to have hope again. I want to bring healing and blessings to my people. Shumba nodded. Bravery and a pure heart will take you far, Tariro. I'll help you this once. Follow me. With that, the lion led Tariro through the thickest part of the forest, clearing a path and guiding her around dangerous stones and rocky trails. After a while, he stopped and looked back at her. This is where I must leave you, Shumba said. But remember, true courage will guide you even when I'm not here. Taro bowed her head in thanks. Thank you, Shumba. I'll never forget your help. With a powerful roar, Shumba disappeared into the trees. Taro stood alone once more, but felt brave than ever, ready for whatever lay ahead. The friendly birds. By dawn, Taro reached a clearing in the forest. She stretched and took a deep breath, relieved to be out of the dark woods. As she stood in the open, she suddenly heard the flapping of wings above her. Looking up, she saw a flock of bright, colorful birds circling in the sky. One bird with feathers of vibrant blue and green swooped down and landed on a branch near her. Hello, traveler, the bird chirped cheerfully. We saw you walking alone and wondered where you might be going. Tato smiled and greeted the bird. I'm looking for the Moringa seeds, she explained. I came from the village of Mangura, and my people need these seeds to bring hope and healing. The bird tilted its head thoughtfully. Ah, the Moringa seeds, a noble mission for one so young. The seeds are not easy to find, but you seem brave. The other birds perched on branches nearby, listening with curiosity. Another bird with red and yellow feathers chirped, we know these forests well. We can guide you to the edge of the land where the seeds are said to be hidden. Tato's eyes lit up with gratitude. That would be wonderful. Thank you. The birds flapped their wings and took to the sky, signaling for Tariro to follow. She walked through the forest with the birds flying just above her, guiding her around tricky paths and thick bushes. Along the way, they sang songs of the forest, filling her heart with warmth and joy. Finally, as the sun began to set, the birds brought her to a wide river with strong currents. The blue and green bird perched on a branch by the river's edge. This river marks the border of the land where the seeds are kept, the bird said. But be careful, the journey becomes more dangerous from here. Tado thanked the birds, waving goodbye as they flew back into the forest. She gazed at the river, wondering how she would cross it. But with the help of her friends and the courage in her heart, she knew she was one step closer to her goal, crossing the great river. Tadeo stood at the edge of the great river, its water rushing quickly past her. She scanned the area looking for a safe way to cross. Just then, she spotted an old crocodile resting on the bank. Remembering her grandmother's stories about respecting the creatures of the land, she approached the crocodile carefully. Good day, Grandfather Crocodile, Taro greeted respectfully. I am on a journey to find the Moringa seeds. I need to cross this river, but the water is too strong. Could you help me? The crocodile opened one eye, his scales glistening in the sunlight. Mm, he rumbled in a deep voice, a brave young one, asking for help so politely. You remind me of the wise ones who respect the river and its creatures. With a gentle nod, the crocodile slid into the water. Climb onto my back and I will carry you across. He said, his voice steady and calm. Tario carefully climbed onto the crocodile's broad back, holding on as he began to glide across the river. The water rushed past, but the crocodile moved with strength and ease, cutting smoothly through the currents. Halfway across, another creature appeared. A large fish with shiny scales swam up to them. Young traveler, the fish called, be careful. There are creatures on the other side who guard the seeds fiercely. You will need both courage and wisdom to face them. Taro nodded, thanking the fish for its advice. I'll remember your words. When they reached the other side, Taro stepped off the crocodile's back and bowed deeply. Thank you, Grandfather Crocodile. I am very grateful for your help. The crocodile gave a gentle nod before disappearing back into the river. Taro stood on the riverbank, feeling a new sense of bravery and determination. She was ready for whatever lay ahead. The forest of trials. Beyond the river lay a dense, shadowy forest known as the Forest of Trials. This part of the land was filled with unusual plants and mysterious sounds, and the air felt thick with magic. Taro took a deep breath and stepped into the forest, holding tightly to her grandmother's charm. As she walked, she came to a clearing with three paths. Each path was marked by a tall wooden post with carvings of animals on each one. The first post showed the carving of a lion, the second showed a lion, an owl, and the third showed a serpent. Just then a voice echoed around her. To find the seeds, you must choose the path of the spirit that will guide you. Taro studied each post carefully. She thought about the lion, Shumba, who had helped her earlier in her journey, but then she remembered her grandmother's wisdom and the advice of the animals she had met along the way. The owl, she realized, represented wisdom, a quality she knew would be essential to face the challenge ahead. I choose the owl, Taro said aloud, her voice steady. As soon as she spoke, the path before her lit up with a soft, glowing light. She followed it, feeling a comforting warmth as she stepped forward. The sounds of the forest grew quieter, and she felt as though she were being watched over by wise and gentle spirits. The path led her deeper into the forest through thick vines and under hanging branches. She could sense that each step was taking her closer to her destination, and she held her head high, feeling confident in her choice. The guardians of the seeds. After what felt like hours of walking, Tariro finally reached a small clearing in the heart of the forest. In the center of the clearing stood a large tree, taller and more majestic than any she had ever seen. She knew without a doubt that this was the Moringa tree and its seeds must be close. But as she approached, she heard a deep, rumbling growl. Out from behind the tree stepped a large, powerful leopard with gleaming yellow eyes. The leopard was strong and fierce, and Taro knew this must be the guardian of the seeds. Who dares to approach the sacred Buninga tree? The leopard growled, his gaze fixed on her. Taro felt her heart race, but she stood her ground. I am Tariro from the village of Mangura. I have come to bring the seeds back to my people so that we may find hope and healing once more. The leopard tilted his head, studying her carefully. Many have come before you, young one, but few have made it this far. Why should I trust you with the seeds? Tariro thought carefully before speaking. Because I am not here for myself. I'm here for my village, my family, and for the future of my people. I may be young, but I've come with courage and respect for this journey. The leopard's eyes softened slightly. You speak with honesty and courage, Tariro. I'll test you one last time. If you answer my question correctly, I'll grant you the seeds. Tariro nodded, feeling both nervous and ready. The leopard's voice rumbled as he asked it, tell me, young one, what is the greatest gift of the Mninga tree? Tariro closed her eyes, thinking of everything she had learned along the way. She remembered her grandmother's stories, the animals who had guided her, and the kindness she had received. Finally, she looked up at the leopard and answered, the greatest gift of the Moringa tree is hope. Hope that grows even in hard times and gives strength to all who seek it. The leopard gazed at her for a long moment, then slowly bowed his head. You have answered wisely, young Tariro. The seeds are yours. With a flick of his paw, he revealed a small pouch filled with the precious Moringa seeds. Lying at the base of the tree, Teresa's heart filled with joy as she picked up the pouch, feeling the weight of her journey in her hands. Thank you, she whispered, bowing deeply to the leopard. The guardian stepped back, his eyes gleaming with pride. Go, brave one, and may the Moringa tree bring hope to all who need it. With the seeds clutched tightly to her chest, Taro turned and began a journey home, her heart filled with pride, courage, and the strength of the Mninga tree's blessings. The journey home begins. With the pouch of precious Mninga seeds in her hands, Taro turned to leave the forest. She felt a deep warmth in her heart, knowing she had completed the hardest part of her journey. As she stepped away from the great tree, the forest seemed to come alive with the gentle sounds of rustling leaves and soft animal calls. as if all the creatures were celebrating a victory. But Tariro knew the journey wasn't over yet. She still had to make her way back across the river, through the forest, and across the plains to a village. The seeds were precious and delicate, and she held the pouch close to her chest, determined to keep them safe. The animals she had met along the way seemed to sense her need. As she walked, the blue and green bird from before fluttered down beside her. Hello again, brave Tariro, the bird chirped. We will help you find your way home. Grateful for the bird's help, Tariro followed as it led her back through the forest, making the path easier to follow. Along the way, more animals appeared, keeping her company. The squirrel scampered beside her, and the wise owl watched from above, guiding her with wisdom in his eyes. Together, they made their way through the forest, and as dusk fell, Taro found herself standing once again at the edge of the river. She took a deep breath, ready to face the rushing waters. The return of grandfather crocodile. As night began to fall, Tariro spotted a familiar shadow gliding through the river's current. It was grandfather crocodile, resting just beneath the surface, his ancient eyes watching her approach. She called out to him respectfully. Grandfather crocodile, Tariro said, I have the Moringa seeds and I need to cross back to my village. Will you help me once more? The crocodile raised his head above the water, giving a slow, approving nod. You kept your promise, young one. Climb onto my back and I shall carry you. Once again, Tariro carefully climbed onto the crocodile's back, holding tightly to the pouch of seeds as he carried her across the river. She felt a sense of calm as they moved smoothly through the water, her trust in the wise old crocodile unshaken. She knew now that every part of her journey was guided by the spirits and creatures of the land. When they reached the other side, Tariro thanked Grandfather Crocodile with a deep bow. Thank you, Grandfather. I'll never forget your kindness. The crocodile rumbled in approval, his voice deep and warm. Go safely, Tariro. May your village be blessed by the gift you carry. With one last nod, the crocodile slid back into the river, disappearing into the depths. Tariro, now feeling both grateful and hopeful, set her sights on the path that would lead her home. A long night in the forest. As night fell, Tariro realized she would need to rest before completing the last part of her journey. She found a safe spot under a large baobab tree and settled down with a pouch of seeds, keeping them close. The forest around her grew quiet as the moon rose, casting its silvery light through the branches. Tarilo closed her eyes, feeling at peace, but a soft rustling sound made her open them again. She looked up to see the wise owl from before, perched on a branch above her. Rest well, Tariro, the owl hooted softly. The spirits of the forest are watching over you. Fear not. Comforted by the owl's words, Tariro relaxed. Soon she drifted into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of a village and the happiness the Moringa seeds would bring. In her dreams, she saw a grandmother's smiling face and heard her voice, strong and clear. You've done well, my child. You've brought hope to our people. The words filled her heart with joy. And when she woke with the first light of dawn, She felt refreshed and ready to finish her journey. Crossing the plains, as the sun rose, Tariro continued her journey, leaving the forest behind and entering the wide open plains. The path home was familiar, but now, carrying the Moringa seeds, it felt like a path of honor. Her heart swelled with pride as she imagined the happiness of her village upon her return. Along the way, she met her friend the antelope who had first shown her the safest paths in the plains. Tariro, the antelope, called happily, bounding over to her. I knew you would return. I can see the strength in your spirit. Tariro smiled, grateful for her friend's encouragement. Thank you, Antelope. With friends like you and all the animals who helped me, I could face anything. The antelope nodded and trotted beside her, guiding her through the tall grass and open plains. Together, they traveled through the hot sun and across the dusty paths, and with every step, Taro felt herself drawing closer to home. Finally, as the sun began to sink lower in the sky, she spotted the roofs of her village in the distance. She felt her heart leap with joy. She was almost home. The homecoming. As Taro approached the village, children playing nearby spotted her and ran ahead, calling out her name. Tariro has returned. Tariro is back, they shouted joyfully, alerting everyone in the village. Soon a crowd gathered, with a grandmother at the front, her face lit up with pride and joy. Taro ran to her, holding out the pouch of Moringa seeds. Grandmother, I've brought the seeds, Taro exclaimed, her heart beaming with happiness. Her grandmother hugged her tightly, tears of joy in her eyes. You've done something wonderful, my child. You've brought hope and healing back to our people. The village elders stepped forward, bowing respectfully to Tariro. Young Tariro, one of them said, you have shown bravery beyond your years. Your journey will be told as a story for generations to come. You are a true hero of Mangura. The villagers cheered and everyone gathered around as the elders carefully took the seeds and prepared to plant them. With these seeds, the Mninga trees would grow once more, bringing hope and healing to everyone in Mangura. That evening, the villagers held a great celebration. There was singing, dancing, and storytelling around the fire as they honored Tariro and all the animals and spirits who had guided her along the way. As the fire crackled, Taro sat beside her grandmother, feeling proud and grateful. Her heart was full, knowing she had helped her people and brought new life to her village. And deep inside, she felt the spirit of the Moringa tree, a spirit of hope, courage, and love taking root in her heart. With that, Tariro's journey had come to an end, but her story lived on, inspiring all who heard it. From that day forward, she was known as Tariro the Brave One, a young girl who had walked into the heart of the forest and returned with the seed of hope. If you enjoyed the story of Tariro's brave journey and the magical discovery that changed their village, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more inspiring tales. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new adventure, and share this story with friends and family who love tales of courage and mystery. What lesson did you learn from Tariro's tale? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Shona stories that bring our tradition to life.